We are dry fighting as Kayo. And our Phoenixes too. Like, we have the trips here. We have the delay. We have 2 Sentinels here. We do not need to challenge up here. We do not need to flash out and play aggressive here. Our team is here. Our Sentinels are here to stall. I'm losing my mind here. In this video, we break down a low elo player's VOD review with an interesting problem. This player has great aim, but keeps making huge ability mistakes, and so many players are doing just this, and it's the thing that's holding them back. We're gonna break down all of his mistakes and showcase them to you so that you can learn and start your climb all the way to Immortal and beyond. But without further ado, let's jump in.
We're pushing mid. We're taking mid.
Okay, it seems that you are actually duoed with the Cypher player and you call to take mid, and so you're gonna flash out, you're gonna actually take mid control. I like that you're buying an ability. I do generally like that you're gonna make a proactive play here, but there is gonna be a couple of problems with this play. Let's talk about it in a second. Flash. Okay, so a couple of problems with this play. As a general idea, I like it, but there's 2 core problems I think I have with it. Number 1 is you would much prefer your Cypher to be able to maintain space, right? He's not necessarily wanting to take space aggressively here. When you have like him, he could play B, the Sage could play A, y'all could maintain space, right? Y'all could hold a lot more space down. It is a risk to send him out here. If you're gonna try to take mid control, then I could see like a hypothetical where maybe you push up, maybe you trip across here, maybe you try to occupy mid, make it really hard for them to push through mid. But there is a huge amount of risk here, and I don't necessarily think that Cypher's the best character to do this kind of aggressive, super hyper proactive play with. The other thing is we're throwing this flash like way too early. We definitely cannot swing off of it. Like, no one is going to be blind from the flash unless they just got like they pushed way up. And our teammate is not going to be able to swing out either unless they're really, really close. So you need to delay the flash a little bit so that you're trying to set up for your team. But in general, I honestly would prefer you to do flashes or use flashes, not just necessarily to take space, especially in these early pistol rounds. It's better to use utility that you know is going to get you value rather than utility that often just becomes like nonsense information, right? Because like, imagine you throw a flash here. You walk out into the open, no one's there. Are you going to stay mid? Are you going to play from mid? Are you going to flank? Like, what are you going to do? What's your plan from there? Most of the time, you're probably going to come back. You're probably going to go regroup with your team. So you used a flash to potentially clear like a hypothetical when there's going to be many more situations that come up later on where you could have used flash for some more definitive value, some more guaranteed value. Just coming up here, throwing out utility just for the sake of throwing out it, like, it can be cool, but unless you're trying to make a set play, you're trying to do something with this mid-control space, it doesn't really make any sense to do, and you're wasting your 1 flash on pistol round that could be so important for you potentially retaking a site.
Hey guys, this is Casey. I just wanted to say that we get it that your teammates in low elo can be really frustrating to play off of sometimes. They're just unpredictable, and you never know what they're going to do. It's easy for high elo players to tell you to work with your team more because they don't know what low elo is actually like. But here at SkillCapped, we do. We watch these games and we've played in them ourselves. I've actually personally made the hellish climb from Iron to Diamond multiple times and uploaded all of my games to our website as I dealt with throwers, AFKs, and insta-lock duelists. Not only that, but I provided live commentary during those matches so that you can follow along with my exact thought process as I learned to play around teammates from hell. I teach you how you can use these terrible teammates to your advantage so that you too can climb out of low elo and never have to play with them again. And the best part is, you've got nothing to lose, because we literally offer a rank improvement guarantee at SkillCapped. So if you don't climb, you don't pay. If you want to see where our rank guarantee will land you in just a few short weeks, be sure to check that out using our free rank calculator listed below. And other than that, let's get into our next part of this VOD.
So anyways, let's keep going. Let's see how this round plays out. Okay, once again, same concept. What are we using a knife for here? Are we just using it to try to gather information? We're not going to make a play off of that. We're not going to make a play off that knife. Are we just trying to find if someone's there? Are we planning to push there? Are we just trying to maybe randomly guess and tag someone there? Later on in this round, there's going to be another opportunity for you to use a knife, and you would rather like use it earlier when you're trying to retake a site or potentially hit. A lot of this random utility usage doesn't actually accomplish anything right now, and we're not gonna have it for 40 seconds. So this is actually a cost that could come up. Like imagine like right now our Viper dies, just as a hypothetical. Now we would really love it if we could knife close. We would really love it if we could gather info on something that we want to rotate back to. But this is just like a random piece of information just to find out, oh hey, someone's mid. Well, we know that someone's up mid here. Like we know someone's here for a matter of fact. So it's very likely that there could be other people mid. But it's not like anyone's committing utility to you. It's not like anyone's pushing towards you. So we don't need to start investing like all these abilities. Like we used both our flash and our knife, and we got 0 value out of either of the abilities. We could have found this person we could have found someone was here just by jiggle peeking. Your Cypher could have easily used his cam if you wanted to. But realistically, like your Cypher's in a very risky position by himself here too. So anyways, let's back this up.
Yeah. Wise wall.
And then now we're lurked up here, but like we don't really know where enemies are. Enemies could be here. There could be an enemy lurked here, waiting here for the lurk up. We don't really have 100% information about where enemies are. Like we threw a knife here, but that does not necessarily mean that there wasn't that guy that you saw here could have easily went this location. And then the second the knife popped, he could have walked up here and waited for the potential flank hypothetically. There's a lot of like unknowns here. I think it's far safer for you to just rotate back with your team here. We're in a retake situation. We don't have our knife yet, which it would be nice to have our knife right away. We are going to get it back 10 seconds from now, but having it right now would be good to get some like definitive information. We also used our flash early to just basically pop flash nothing and get us no information that we couldn't have gotten by like jiggle peeking. And we would really love to have a flash here for this retake. You got to think about these things. Like every time you use a piece of utility, there's a cost, and the cost comes in the form of something down the line where there was a moment where you could use the utility and you don't have access to it. A lot of times players are just throwing out the utilities. Like in the low ranks, people are not using the utility at all and dying with utility. Once people start to climb, people are popping the utility, but they're just using it just to make sure that they use it before they die. So they're typically like throwing out flashes here. They're going to flash this corner, peek it. Oh, no one's there. Okay, I'm going to flash this corner, peek it. No one's there. I'm going to throw a knife here randomly. Oh, no one's there. And they're just not using abilities with intent or with any guarantee value. And I'm not saying that you have to make it so that every ability gets value, but the less abilities that you have access to, the more sparing you need to use them. When you only have one flash, you would really like it if you can make sure that that flash is going to get you some value. You know someone's there, you're going to challenge them, you flash out. You know people are on site, you want to take space on site, you flash out. These are guaranteed examples of value, as opposed to like the random, I'm going to flash, take up mid, and then we're going to leave mid anyway. So
reload him.
Enemy spotted B.
Long. You're out.
we have a knife here as well. So you could have thrown the knife first. Like this is an example of like you had the knife. I do like the kill, by the way. Nice crosshair placement, nice kill. But you could have thrown the knife out and then you could have actually come, you know, like we don't really know if they're both played up close, if they're both playing pillar, we don't really know. So you could have thrown like the knife, like from that angle, you could have thrown the knife safely or even thrown it along the wall. Gathered information, oh, hey, they're both far along, then gone and went for the defuse. So like there's little bits of information that you could have gathered here. And this is another example of like a moment when you could use a piece of utility. Like now, this is like when I want you to use the utility. Also, in a different situation, let's say both your teammates got one tapped here and the enemy are all alive. You would have loved to have a flash. Like you could have flashed out challenge, potentially put pressure on the defuse, stuff like that. So anyways, nice hit though. Nice kill. And then now it's pretty much unwinnable. So good job recognizing the fact that they could not possibly get there, even if your teammates die. And then y'all got the kill, and that's nice. So what are we going to do here? Okay, so we do end up buying the Spectre here. And so this, see, to me, I talked about this in a previous VOD. I've talked about this many times. This is like the worst of all buys. Because we're buying the Spectre, which is like a nice fundamental weapon, but we make ourselves weaker and more susceptible to like dying to random nonsense, dying to getting bum rushed by classics, dying to utility like nade. If you're gonna buy and invest here, you want to make sure that you're gonna be as strong as possible, because you also become a walking liability if you buy less armor. Like here, we can buy our full kit, there's not really much of a point in buying a partial kit because we're not going to be able to buy a full kit next round if we lose. So there's no point. And of course, if we win, we want to be able to carry our weapons economy forward. We're not going to just like throw away our Spectre, right? So you need to think about that here. Give yourself the best shot at winning this round. Make sure that you're buying a full kit, full armor, full abilities here. Also, right here, we're just randomly pop flashing mid again. I think we're going to call it with our teammate most likely. It's an okay play, but there's a couple of reasons. Once again, I don't like just making it so that we're risking pushing out here. What if the entire team is lurking up here? We die, our Cypher dies, we give them weapons, we make that really easy for the enemy team to do that, and then now they have weapons that could potentially win the round. There's a lot of risk involved with doing a play like this. If we're playing more fundamental, we play around our Cypher trips, we play a little bit more passively, we play around gathering information or swing with our team as an initiator. We're not going to lose this round. It's very unlikely because we have an economic advantage. That's one. Number two is we already did this flash. We already tried to do this flash. So doing this again is making it so that enemies could easily duck the flash and then play in a position where you didn't check and then timing you really easily. So try not to repeat the same plays over and over again, especially if opponents saw the previous play, which they did because they were playing mid the last time you tried this flash. So you got to be careful about that. You don't want to make it so that the enemy get to like counter your play, or, you know, they could easily be dodging the flash, then waiting for you to peek out this door, holding the angle. Two people could be holding the angle. And you did the same thing last round. So it is a liability doing this. It is a risk because you're kind of repeating the same habits.
Wait for my flash.
Okay, I like that you called to wait. You did. Okay, we messed up the flash. Okay, it happens to everyone. Everyone who's played Kayo. We messed up the flash. So right here, we already risked ourselves by even doing this. Like, we already risked ourselves. Our Cypher does not have this yet. The flash messed up. Like, and we did this flash in the previous round. What if two people here were just sitting here with a deagle? We just die. Like, we just die for free. And then your Cypher's like scrambling to try to trade you and he dies, right? We don't know. Because he wouldn't be able to clear up here. But you do gather that there's no information here. And then I do like that you at least try to jump peek that. Okay, so what are we doing with this flash? So this flashing high, it's okay conceptually, but are we actually sure that this is actually flashing anyone? And are we even like, how do we know that your teammate would also not get flashed? I mean, they died, but like, you don't really know if they're not going to get flashed either. We're kind of just hoping they don't. It doesn't really gather us any direct information. I would much rather you like flash behind you with the alternate flash and just swing off your own flashes. Like, try to take the initiative with your own plays for yourself, or even do it with the teammate that's nearby. Trying to do these over-the-top flashes, especially when you don't have a perfect lineup and your teammate doesn't know exactly what you're doing, is a recipe for you to just blind your teammates or get zero value out of your flashes. Like, once again, our Cypher and our Phoenix are not even back with us. Like, our team's not back with us. And we got no utility. We don't have our flash. We wasted both of our flashes and we wasted our knife. So, like, you got to think about your job as an initiator. Gathering information and helping clear angles and take advantage fights when you're taking space. And so we're in a retake situation once again. We got nothing for our team. We're literally just a default character, blank skin character, got nothing, okay? So think about that a little bit more, try to help your team engage a little bit more, and try to save these pieces of utility a little bit more. We don't need to start the round, dump all of our utility like right away within the first 15 seconds of the round. Use it later in the round. Use it to retake. Use it with our team. Try to get more value out of these pieces of utility than just blindly using them whenever we see an opportunity to use them. Anyways, let's keep going. Nice kill. A little risky to take that fight without our team being there, but you have a better weapon most likely. Okay, so we should probably be scaling out with our team here. I kind of get what you're doing. You're kind of waiting a little bit and you're afraid of this, but it would be a good idea to kind of scale out with the team. Although this wall's a little bit risky here because the enemy team could be hiding. The enemy player could be hiding. We don't really know. Like right there as well, we probably should not take a step here. Like as your Phoenix went out, we could have walked out behind him. And we don't really want the enemy to know exactly where we are. So it would be a good idea to cut information here. Or you could wait and play off your knife. So like we could wait, play off our knife, like keep the same position and calm to your team. Hey, let's wait. Knife back a sight, see if we, I mean, we know someone's there. So like you're basically just turning off the utility. So it could be good. But you also could just say, okay, let's knife left, gather information there, fight the person back a sight together. Like there's a couple of plays that you can make here. It'd be a good idea for you to communicate to your teammate what you're doing. If you're going to play off your utility, you should communicate that.
Shutting them down.
Oh my god.
That sucks for timing. That can happen, though. That can easily happen. You also didn't need to peek that angle when you had your knife out, right? You didn't need to peek. You didn't need to peek this side while you were knifing. You could have knifed the wall.
Target dead.
There's just someone. Oh, wait. Wait.
Enemy
No,
last
let me have
player
my
standing.
splash. Give me some.
One enemy remaining.
Dang, nice try.
Man,
There's a million situations that I'm sure you yourself can point out how having utility during this retake would have been phenomenal. Like, it would have been really, really good. As your teammates came out, you could have cleared multiple angles and helped them take the space. You could have gathered information here that there was enemies there so that your teammates weren't caught from surprise. You could have gathered they were here, gathered they were there. There's a lot you could have done to set up your team more here, scale all out onto site if we didn't just dump and waste all of our utility so quickly. And now, like, our second buy is so awkward. Our second buy is crazy awkward. Once again. Like, our first buy was kind of weird, and now our second buy is also kind of weird. Actually, how much credits do we have after? Let's see. I don't even know how low you got. So you're gonna buy a sheriff here? So the problem with buying a sheriff here, right, is that it actually brings down your minimum of the next round to underneath that 3,900 credits. So buying an armor here is actually a huge liability, because if you die here and lose this round, and use all your utility, you're not going to be able to get your utility, and you're not going to be able to buy full armor with a rifle. So yeah, I mean, it's just something that you should really consider. Before you buy things, you need to think about that. Now, abilities are different because you want to have abilities in your full kit. You just need to be more cautious about spending them, and typically only invest them if the round is winnable. On save rounds like this, you make the call, hey, this round is winnable. I'm going to start popping all my utility and utilizing it because I really want to win this round and I want it to be the difference maker. But you don't want to just start the round and start dumping utility, because the idea is that you want to make sure that you carry that utility into the future round if the round's not winnable, right? And you don't know the round is winnable in the dark. Also note that the economy here is really bad. Like, you bought a worse setup with Spectre and only light armor last round when you could have bought full, and now you're like doing this half buy thing, and some of your teammates are doing this full buy thing. So the buy of your team overall is just like incredibly off here. If your team is full committing to this buy and they're going to be super broke next round, it would actually be in your best favor to just buy out whatever the best setup is right here, because at least you'll match the power level of your team here. Because what are you going to do? Are you going to buy like a weird half buy again next round? Are you going to buy full when your team is buying light next round? It's just incredibly awkward if you don't sync up your buys here.
no, what? No, man.
Okay, this is the third round in the row. We're doing the set flash. Dumping utility for not a core purpose. I mean, now there's the Phoenix, so I like that a little bit better. But one thing I don't like is this. Looking at the mini-map, we have 2 Sentinels on A. This like completely shuts down A, but these characters aren't great at retake, and we would really want to split our Sentinels, because the idea is that we can stall on both sides, right? It's a little bit better to be able to stall on both sides, as opposed to this is like a hard gamble A. Like, if they don't go A and they go B, like imagine if they just go B, kill someone on their entry, and just rush B. Even if they don't, even if they just fast take B and y'all play for retake, it's incredibly hard because you have 2 Sentinels. They do not have any retake utility. Like, their utility is very, very good for holding space. It's not great for taking space. So setting up in that way is really poor. Not something you can necessarily control. But what you can control is the third time in a row that you're doing this set flash play that is just, it's telegraphed. It's not really even getting you guaranteed value. It's going to be super easy for opponents to play around. And I need you to tell me, Why are you even doing it? Are you doing it because you want to take mid? Are you doing it to deny, delay? Like you know when someone comes and peeks this corner, right? They have to clear. They don't know if enemies are here. They have to clear a million angles. They have to clear close. They have to clear this place. They have to clear this corner. They have to clear all the way down. So they have like all these little locations that they have to clear. It's actually really hard for people to take space through this area. It's a lot easier for people to challenge you when you're standing out here. So coming out here is actually not really that strong positionally unless you plan to like set up as a team and there's some core strategy behind it, but you're just doing it randomly. Like that's really the reality of it. You're just doing it just because you feel like it. That's kind of all you're doing.
Yeah, bye, Summer.
I'm flashing Phoenix.
Flash.
Like I would not be surprised if there's someone just waiting for you. You've done the same flash multiple times and then walked up a little bit mid.
Hey.
They've had a million opportunities to potentially just lurk and kill you here. Someone could just be waiting in a million different spots.
Oh, you're...
It's also going to be pretty hard for you to flank in general against this composition because of this. They had two characters that can deny the flank. So it's going to be really hard for you to flank.
Knife deployed.
And we knifed really deep, but that still gives away... I mean, it's a nice knife, but it still gives away opponents your position.
Two suppressed.
So, like, if you peek this angle with them knowing your position, just, like, as a general rule of thumb, if you're ever going to peek a location with enemies knowing that you're there, you almost always want to back that with utility if possible. So, like, here, I want you to turn to the side, flash behind you as you swing out, and then you're going to swing with the pop flash. That is something because they know you're here, right? They know that you're here. They know your location. And this is true like in any situation where, you know, you peek someone, you fight them, you unpeek and then you repeek. Typically, you don't want to ever repeek an angle without some form of utility. It doesn't have to be a flash, by the way. It could be maybe your jet with a dash. Maybe it's with another form of utility of some kind, a drone or whatever. An ISO shield. It doesn't matter what it is. But peeking blind here, that's what this is. It's like you're peeking without using raw utility, potentially. And the enemy team know that you're here. So it's incredibly risky for when you can actually directly play around that. Yeah, see, like, we could have flashed this angle. We did not need to hard challenge this angle blind. They know we're here. Oh, no, I guess our team is actually going to win this, even though our buy was just completely random. So we kind of got bailed out on the buy. Wait.
Push for it, I guess.
I swear. Okay. I've been seeing way too many VOD reviews of people buying light armor for no reason. Buy your armor, people. Buy your full kits, people. Please, please, for the love of God. Okay. Okay, so once again, we're flashing off rip. Like, I don't understand your obsession with flashing off rip blind. Like, every round, you are minus the creds. Like, you are just burning creds. At the start of every round, you're just burning creds. Do you know if they're going to get value? No, we have no freaking idea if they're going to get value. Absolutely no idea. But we're just doing it. I'm not saying that there aren't moments where it's going to be good, but I feel like you just want to use your utility at the start of every game, every round. You just want to use it. You want to pop your flash, you want to throw your dive, you just want to dump all your utility so that later in the round you don't have it. Keep in mind, these rounds are long, and there's a lot of moments where you would love to have 2 flashes for a retake. Please think more about when you're using your pieces of utility and why. Like, what's their purpose? And oftentimes you want to have these pieces of utility for a future situation. A more guaranteed situation, more value guaranteed. That is a good pop flash, though. I think you full blinded your Phoenix. Actually, yeah, it's close. It was close. Your Phoenix can also just like walk up and flash for himself too. Like, he doesn't need you to pop flash for him necessarily. But you, like, a knife there might be actually better, because at least a knife you're gonna get later on. So like a knife there, like you could knife and then like potentially stun them. I mean, not stun them, but gather information and remove their utility. And then your Phoenix can flash for himself is something that you could do. And then, like, once again, like, this could be a trap for your Phoenix, like a hard trap. Because, like, what did your Phoenix do last round? You popped the flash over, he swung, no one was there, he grabbed the orb, right? Like, and then you're doing the same play again. So, like, what's to stop an opponent from just, like, sitting here and, like, waiting to flash out and then peeking after and walking up and killing your Phoenix? Like, the more you do the same play over and over again like this, you're not like guaranteed to get whatever you got last round. In fact, it becomes more and more predictable the more you do it. Yeah, and then once again, we're just like burning money at the start of every round.
Flashbang.
Okay, so you did actually, I'm actually curious how many that blinded, if any.
Flashbang.
Okay, so what was the second blind for? What was this blind for? Why are we blinding a second time? Are we blinding to stall? Like what? This is important because you think about it this way. Like your Phoenix still has 2 flashes, or I think he has at least 1. You still have the Cypher trip here, and like your opponents haven't even got out of like not even main, right? So they could easily go over to B and you would have no flashes again. Like the first flash should not be used off rip every single time. In fact, that should be a rare set play that you do, but not something that you're just start of the round popping a flash, start of the round popping a flash. And your second flash should be something that you are very disciplined with holding for a moment where you can actually get value. And I want to make this clear. This is not something that's unique to Kayo. It's true on every freaking character. People do this all the time where they just want to dump utility whenever they see. Like, the equivalent here that I would imagine is like, imagine if, like, at the start of the round, your Sage just threw a deep slow and then backed up a little bit and then threw another slow. Like, you're dumping all your bits of utility, like, in the first 2 seconds of the round. And you just limit your options, limit your impact. Sure, you could still win this game and have high value in this game because you're getting kills, right? Like, you know, gun, shoot, get kills, sure. But there's so many other situations where against better opponents, even slightly better opponents or opponents that play slightly differently, you would just completely just not have the level of options that you should on this character. You're getting very, very little utility value. So anyways, let's keep going.
Suppressing. 2 suppressed.
I do like the knife. I wish he would have used the knife and not the second flash. And then we both die. Because you know what we're doing? So, okay. We used both of our flashes. So we actually blinded a ton of people with our flashes. But we used both of our flashes and our knife. And 2x people that both have flashes in their kit fought someone dry and both died. Okay, like I'm not trying to be overly harsh here, but we didn't set up this engagement in a favorable way at all. We are dry fighting. We are dry fighting as Kayo and our Phoenixes too. Like we have the trips here. We have the delay. We have 2 sentinels here. We do not need to challenge up here. We do not need to flash out and play aggressive here. Our team is here. Our sentinels are here to stall. I'm losing my mind here. We do not need to do that. Like, now, if these people just rotate and go to the other site, there's a 0% chance you win. You have 2 sentinels that cannot retake. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I feel like I'm losing it. I feel like I'm losing it. But it's so important here. It's so important. These little mistakes around utility and setting up favorable advantage gunfights and utility advantaged fights, we're doing none of it. We're doing none of it. And I could see like I fast forward to the end of this VOD and I know that like you did overall have a good KD here. And you might think that this like is justification for you. You played well, you deserve a higher rank, but realistically, I see how all these mistakes could have added up to you just getting stomped this game, and it could be the thing that's holding you back from climbing to the next rank. Because your aim is good. I like your comms, but all this other stuff, it's really adding up and creating a huge problem. Oh god, are we pop flashing again? Oh man, we are pop flashing again. We have control, please. We have 1 flash. We have 1 flash. Wait, what is our buy? I might lose my mind. What is it? We have 1 flash, and we're gonna waste it at the start of the round. I can't. Dude, please, man. Please. We have these entire 5 rounds. We have yet to flash an enemy that we have swung and killed. We have yet to do that a single time. We have yet to do that a single time. In fact, I don't even think we flashed an enemy that our teammates have killed. We haven't done that either. We've done neither of those things. And we have successfully burned a flash worth of credits every single at the start of every single round for no value. I can't.
Should I hold the...
There.
Yeah.
Flash.
Watch out.
Suppressing.
Yeah, like the core of the issue, what I'm prescribing you with is chronic ability user. I guess, I don't know. You love to just use abilities all the time. For what reason? We pop flash this off rip. No guarantee of value. I can maybe understand, hey, you're gonna go and help your Phoenix take it, but like we could just have knifed and gathered information for him so you know it's safe. We don't need to necessarily use our one flash. But then we're gonna knife as well. We're gonna use both. So we pop flashed. We already achieved what we wanted to achieve, which is get our Phoenix his orb, which maybe that was your goal. I don't know. You probably should have gotten the orb instead. You almost have your ult. And then we're gonna throw our knife too. So now like we have only this. Like we don't have our utility really. And what have we gotten from it? Like what have we gotten? It's just what you want to do. You always want to just dump your utility. And this like lazy, I'm gonna call it lazy utility use, is the core thing. I know right now it's the core thing that's holding you back from climbing. It's not your aim. It's not your communication. It's not your vape. Okay, it might be your vape. It's really this lazy utility use. But anyways, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. And definitely check out SkillCapped if you want to stop making core mistakes. Whether it's your aim, your decision making, or you're simply getting timing over and over again. We have guides that will help improve your consistency and climb again and again. And with our rank improvement guarantee, if you don't climb, you don't pay. So what are you waiting for? Check it out right now in the links down below.